So in the last screencast, we talked about how to create and share folders. And in this screencast, we're going to talk about how to go ahead and have your students create folders, organize those folders, and create portfolios or working living documents within the Google Drive that your students can then drop into the folders that you have saved for them. So in order to create shared folders, the first thing that I would do is I would walk through the process of creating a new folder. And I would create a folder for each period or each section that you have. And I actually clicked the wrong thing, sorry. So I'm going to go to New, I'm going to create a folder, and then I'm going to title it. So if I have period 1, I'm going to create that, and I'm going to have it then show up here on my main page. Now, what I'm then going to do is have all of my period 1 students create a folder for themselves, and then those folders will get dropped into period 1. Now, the great thing again about folders, like we talked about before, was that everything you drop into a shared folder is shared with all of the people that you've asked it to be shared with every time you drop something in there. So once a student shares a folder with you, they don't have to share every document with you. They can actually take a document that they've created, drop it into the shared folder, and it will automatically share it with you as the teacher and anyone else that folder has been shared with. And it makes it a much easier process to kind of organize and keep everything where you want it. Now, obviously, if I double click on this and I open this period 1 folder, then there's nothing here yet because I need to drag and drop some information into there. So you would have your students share a folder and create a folder in the exact same way that you create folders. So you would go to New, you would have them do a folder, and then you would have them name it. Now, preferably, what I would have them name it is either their period number and then their first and last name, but the preference is completely up to you. You just want to make it easy for you to organize. So I have a couple that were shared with me. I'm going to go into my shared file because that's actually where you would find a shared folder. And they were shared with me a few days ago, so I'm actually going to go to the share date, and then I'm going to scroll down here until I see these folders that I'm looking for. They're right here. So I had Sarah and Lori and Lisa all share a folder with me. Now, if I open these folders, these actually have documents inside of them. So each of these folders has these documents inside of them. Now, what I then want to do is I want to share these folders or place these folders in my period 1 bin. So I'm going to scroll back down. I'm going to grab one of them and I'm going to actually drag it over here to where it says My Drive. And that's going to bring it down, and I'm going to look for the period 1 folder, and I'm just literally going to drop it into there. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing with Lori's, and the exact same thing with Lisa's. So now when I come back to my drive and I open up this period 1, I have these folders within this period 1 document. And then no matter which one of these I open up, I'm going to get all the documents that are inside of them. So if each of your students have these, you'd say have 35 students in one period folder, and each of them has their own folder. And what they do is they literally just drop it into the folder on their drive, and it will share it with you where you have it saved in your drive. And so you can ask them to create a document, drop it into the folder, and as they update it, it's going to update it in that folder as well. And this is a working living document, a working living portfolio for you to create. And obviously you might have period 1, period 2, period 3, but they're always right there. The students can't change where you have the files saved to, so no matter where they're saved to on their Google Drive, it's still going to drop it wherever you have the files saved. So your organization will always be the same no matter what. The only thing that you're really going to have to decide is when you open up these folders is what these are named, so that they're named in a way that is functional for you as a teacher to kind of look through them and see what your students have. So naming can become one of those issues that you really have to be kind of a stickler on, and you have to kind of look at what is it I want my students to name these. That way it's easy for me to find, and I can go through and I can open up these documents. And the great thing about this is it takes just a couple of seconds to open each of these files, and if what I'm looking for is, say, this document, then I can look at this graphic organizer, and I can go through it, and as my student is editing this graphic organizer, I can look through it and leave comments and go back and look at the information that they are giving me or the information that they are writing down for themselves. So I can actually do this in real time, and it's really easy to find them in this way because I am able to literally go through and just say, okay, I'm opening this student's file, and this is what I want from that file. So this is the way that we share folders. And this is the way that we are able to organize and functionally create these portfolios, etc., that work for our students and work for ourselves. And I hope this is helpful in utilizing Google Docs to share your information and to kind of organize student work.